Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about same gender parents. I'm Rita and today it's all about you. Even though we are in the year 2021 of the 21st century, humanity still believes in very hurtful facts. And these facts came from a time of less information, of less scientific facts and research, or even experience and know-how like the ones we have today. We as a humanity made progress in many things, but in others we are still very far away from what we should be as a community or as a society in general. We are still struggle accepting some facts, and the same gender parenting is one of them. Same gender parents have been allowed to get married, to be parents. In some countries like Scandinavia countries, Western Europe and some parts in the American continent. And this happened only since the beginning of this 21st century. In a much more extended view, only 30 countries of 195 consider the gay couples have the same rights as the heterosexual ones. We have to really understand that still in 90 countries around the world is totally forbidden any kind of intimacy between two people of the same gender. And of course, this causes a stigmatizing political, social, cultural context in the world. Looking a little bit more close, we can understand that this happened due to some very specific things like economic development and democracy, or the lack of it, and religious beliefs. The fact is that poor societies, they tend to be less supportive because cultural values tend to be much more focused on the basic survival. Same-gender parents, in general, have biological children from one of them, and only a small percentage enroll in the adoption experience. But if you think a little bit further, for a kid having two moms or two dads, it is something that it doesn't really matter. And studies have shown that all the development, social interaction, cognition, emotional skills, school skills are all exactly the same as any other children that has one mom and one dad. Both groups, they don't have any kind of difference in emotional function, sexual orientation, gender role behavior, adjustment, or even gender identity. As the last 3 years of studies and research have shown, the traumatic experience happened nowadays in the group of children that their parents get divorced because one of them come out as a gay person. And this can be extremely confused for a child if it's not addressed properly. So, and the comparison is really clear in these studies. This situation is much more traumatic for a child than having a lovely home with two parents of the same gender, because actually this situation doesn't constitute any kind of trauma experience or any kind of issue per se to a child. Another curious fact is that studies have also shown that teenagers that has same gender parents usually are more likely to be open emotionally, show to be much more resilient and compassionate, empathic and tolerant. Same gender parents have exactly the same kind of concerns about their children, like parenthood doubts, money responsibilities, providing the right structures, protection, and fulfill the needs of their children. Probably the worst that these families still have to face are the discrimination and the stigma of the society, the extended family, or the community. During my research for this video, I stumbled in some kind of papers and researches assumed as scientific but with some very strange, dubious sources, totally against this kind of relationships and with a totally limited way of seeing the world. Some of these documents or informations were signed by priests, fathers or shepherds, which really made me think twice, because not long ago all the world could hear that the Pope recognized gay couples as worthy of the God's love and that should have legally protection, which I really believe, even this is not the official position of the Catholic Church, it might be the beginning of a little bit of open-minded for religion in general. I understand that this is a very controversial issue and that this is kind of new, because these are problems that are revealed themselves in the last 20 years. Actually, 20 years ago, when I was studying psychology in my university, this issue was something that it was very difficult to understand, because all the studies that we had in that time were just saying that it was wrong for a child, and it was very having a very negative result, all the stigma that a child has to have in the society because they eventually had a gay parent. But nowadays, 20 years later, we can see that this is something that it is still matter, but not in the same way as before. What I mean is that nowadays we can see that the only thing that really matters for a child and that really helps a child development in a total way is the love, the companionship, the empathy of their parents. And it is not important if these parents are same gender or not. So I believe that love, when it's given from the heart, it don't have nothing to do with gender. To a child is not really important the source of their love and their well-being and their companionship. But for a child, what is really important is the feeling of protection, the comfort of a hug, the trust, the care. And the only thing that matters is that hug and that feelings, they have to happen and they should happen. That's the only thing that really matters to a child. And so that's all for today, guys. I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up, share with a friend, comment if you want, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye!